Assalamu alaikum. Today is our online sixth lecture, and today's lecture is about cost management. So, what is cost management, or what is the process for the cost management? It includes processes required to complete the project within the approved budget. With its process, this knowledge area aims to determine the required budget to complete the project and then aims to monitor and control the project costs to meet the determined budget. So, cost management is actually a management related to the budget of the project, and the goal of cost management is to complete the project within the required or given budget. And during the project, monitoring and controlling will be done in order to check that whether the project is going as per our budget or it requires more budget. The process of cost management. Cost management have four processes: plan cost management, estimate cost, determine budget, and control cost. So first we talk about the plan cost management process. The first process of this knowledge area is plan cost management process. This process In this process, how to determine budget, estimate costs, and manage the expenses through the project are planned. Cost management plan is the primary output of the process. It describes how to manage the project costs and budget. In previous lectures, in time management, in project management, in all these processes, including now cost management, the first step is always planning. So in cost management, we also do some planning. And what we do in this planning? In this planning, we estimate the cost. This means we estimate that how much cost this project will be having, how we will manage those costs, and we will also think about the factors that can affect the costs. So all this process is done in the planning phase. That's why it's written the first process of the knowledge area is plan cost management. In this process, how to determine budget and estimate cost. So in this first step, we will estimate the cost and we will plan how to manage the expenses. The two important terms in plan cost. So in planning the cost management process, we will consider these 2 points: life cycle costing and value engineering. So what is life cycle costing? Life cycle costing is an important term in project management. Everything that is produced has a lifetime. Do you still use your first cell phone? Mostly probably no, because in this world most of the technological products have at most 2 years of a life cycle. So first thing is life cycle costing. Why we consider life cycle costing? Life cycle costing is about the life of a product. Whenever we want to buy a product, we always think a short term or a long term. We spend money on the product. For example, if we want to use the product for a very short time, then we will go for a cheap product, or we will not buy that product, we will take that product on rent. So that is called the life cycle costing. That while buying the product, you have to think about the life cycle of that product. So in a project, whenever we want to buy any instrument, whenever we want to buy any product, we will consider the life cycle of the product. Second thing is value engineering. What is value engineering? Value engineering is performing same work with a less costly way. For instance, if you need a bulldozer for your construction project only for 2 months, most probably leasing the bulldozer will be less costly than buying a bulldozer if you don't use it in your future project works. So value engineering means do things smartly. Here the example of a bulldozer is given. You can also take crane or any heavy machinery, because we no need to buy that machinery. Why? Because we only need that for 1 or 2 months or a couple of months, and instead of buying such heavy and costly machine or instrument, it will affect the cost of the project. So instead of buying that, we will take that machinery as a rent for our project, so it will be less costly. So while doing the cost management, we will consider these 2 points: life cycle costing, that what is the life cycle of that product or instrument, and value engineering, smart work. Second step is estimate cost process. Estimate cost process is the second process of cost management knowledge area. Cost estimation for each project activity and tool, material, equipment are done in this process. Then based on these estimation, overall project budget is estimated. Estimated cost mean we assume that how much cost. We assume that okay, this amount of cost is needed. It can be up and down in this estimated cost. So after planning that which type of equipment and which things and for how long we need those material or equipment, we come to the second step, that is estimate cost process. So in estimate cost process, whatever we planned in the first section or first step, now we will start estimating all their cost. For example, in the first step, we planned that what type of tools we need, and we do these two steps, life cycle costing and value engineering for those tools. And now in this step, we will do the cost estimation of those tools, also the cost estimation of what type of material will be used, what type of equipment is used, what will be the estimate cost for that. And after getting the estimation cost of all the tools, equipments, materials, then from this we will find out the overall cost of the project or the budget of the project. So here are the different types of costs in the projects. For instance, office rent for a project is a fixed cost. Regardless of how many project resources will work, you need an office, and this cost will be in your project budget. So first thing is fixed cost. On the other hand, material cost, expenses for project, personnel, etc. will be variable depending on the number of people or materials. So there will be different types. There will be fixed types, non-fixed types. So fixed type is something like we need an office, or we need a site, or we need a land for building something. So this type is called fixed, and that cost that can be changed, like material cost or the people working inside the office, or this type of cost, that is not fixed cost. Now the third step is determine budget process. Determine budget process is the third process of cost management. After estimating are done, all cost estimations are combined during this process and overall project budget is determined. Project budget will have components. After activity cost estimates are complete, there will be contingency reverse on top of these estimates, such as activity. Okay, this determined budget process is actually when we complete our estimation cost, then we will think further. What we will think, everything like in the time management, we think about what things can affect our time management or project. Here in cost management, we also determine the budget process. We will check all the activities risks also, that are there any risks or how we will handle those risks which can affect our cost. So all this planning is done in determined budget process. Next is control cost process. Control costs is the fourth and last process of the cost management knowledge area. This process mainly aims to control the project expenses and complete the project on determined budget. As in the last our face-to-face lecture, I told you in time management about the control and monitoring. So I told you that monitoring is just to check and report, while controlling is about check the process and take care of the processes. If due to some process project is affecting, we have to work on that process. Same in the control cost process. If there is an activity or a process which is affecting the cost of the project, then we will work on that process and we will make sure that project will close on in a given or determined budget. So what were the four processes? We will look in this again. First was plan cost management. In this we will do all the plannings in the first stage, and planning we will think about the life cycle costing of a project and also the valuable engineering. Life costing, how much is the life of that product or service or anything. And value engineering, working smartly, instead of buying the expensive products we just take on the rent. Estimate, after the planning we will do the estimate for the materials, equipments and all the things, and from those we will take out the determine the final budget of the project. And different types of the fixed budget, fixed cost and non-fixed cost. Fixed costs are like land and offices, which is be used for this, and non-fixed are the like people, how many used, how many will be there, and the material cost, these types of non-cost. Determining the budget, after planning and estimation, then we will work on the different processes and components and about the risks that can affect the cost management. And the final is control cost processes. We control all the processes of the project. If there is any process which can affect the cost of the project, we will work on that process. So this is the final cost process, control cost process in the cost management. So thank you for this part of the video.